Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I am bringing you a very special video. I wish I could have done a creative intro, but someone already beat me to the punch on that, so sorry about that. But today we are reviewing the 1984 Jonathan Demme Talking Heads classic, Stop Making Sense, the concert film capturing these guys during their tour for the Speaking in Tongues album in 1983. And today I have a very special guest to talk about the film with me, of course, Mr. Connor Carey. Thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited to get into this movie with you, man.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I appreciate you bringing me on the channel for this in particular. Thank you, thank
Absolutely,
you.
man. What a pleasure it is already. And look, let's be honest right off the bat. I mean, this is the greatest concert film of all time. I don't see there being any competition at all in that regard.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely none. Like, I'm not a big concert movie fan, but
Hmm.
just yeah, like this one blows any other one I've seen out of the water. It's just unlike anything you've ever seen, and seeing it on the big screen in that 4K remaster, oh, just
Oh,
icing on top of the cake.
dude, like I knew as soon as they were bringing it back, I knew I had to see this again. And of course, the fact that the Talking Heads reunited at TIFF and all these other screens for the first time. Unfortunately, we were at TIFF. I know I had missed it because I was seeing other movies, understandably. But still, so great to see the four of them. This is the first time they got back together since their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, like 20 years ago or something. So pretty crazy. And for those of you who have been watching the channel for a while, you know I am a big Talking Heads fan. I absolutely love the band. I think they're the best band from the 80s, hands down, if we're talking about, the work they did in that decade in particular as opposed to other bands. But Connor, I just want to ask you, what is your experience with Talking Heads? When was the first time you saw Stop Making Sense for the first time?
Ooh, good question. Good question. So I would say I became aware of the Talking Heads in high school, probably
Mm-hmm.
around the mid 2010s. I was familiar with their band. I wouldn't say I was like a fan of them, but I did love a lot of their music. And then I would say around 2017, 2018, I started becoming a more passionate fan, like diving deeper into their discography and like listening to more of their songs. And I became a pretty big fan then. And then I think I don't know if I was made aware of Stop Making Sense's existence until a little later in the game.
Really?
I don't think I watched that for the first time until COVID. So like
Mm.
2020, 2021. So I'm still fairly new, but I've seen it a few times since, and just yeah, like I thought watching it at home was an unreal experience just for the type of concert film it is and the extraordinary camera work and style Jonathan Demme provides. But just wow, seeing it in a theater was just night and day. But yeah, I've been a fan of the Talking Heads since 2017, and it grows every day and continues to.
Damn, that's awesome. And you got to see this in IMAX, right? Because I just saw it in standard. Because the theater
I
I was seeing,
did
that was all they showed. Oh, man.
it.
Come on.
Oh, it was so. Yeah, I'm not like I don't want to use hyperbole and say like it was one of the greatest experiences of my life,
Mm.
but as far as theater experiences, like very few come to mind of better than that. Like I saw it on Tuesday night. It only played at my IMAX theater for a week, like I think it
Mm.
did at most, and now it's gone. And it only played twice a day, so the only time to go was 8:40 at night, and we went on Tuesday, my buddy and I, and there was like five other people in the theater. And so
Damn.
like this massive IMAX theater. So like yeah, I felt like we were seeing the show by ourselves. But anyway, within the first few minutes, like just the speakers and stuff, like you could hear the audience in the movie, like just clapping and reacting. And initially, like I'm just like I'm turning around, like I'm like, oh my god, like is this the like are these people in the theater like doing? It? And then I'm like,
Mm.
oh my god, that just this surround sound in the IMAX was just unreal. Like it made you feel like you were a part of that concert, even though it was 40 years old and I'd seen it before.
That's the amazing thing about how immersive it is. And I'll get into the audio in a little bit because that was something I noticed even. But the first time I saw Stop Making Sense, I think it was like the end of 2021. It was like a
Right.
late night. I was at work or whatever, and I got back home. Like, I gotta watch this movie, and I loved it the first time I saw it, but I was also a little tired, so I came back
Yeah.
to it again because I was promising to watch it with some of my friends, and then I just absolutely fell head over heels for it, and so did everyone I saw it with. The manic energy, the unbridled joy of performing in this film is felt in every single frame, and I think Jonathan Demme's direction is very especially artful, and I just love, on top of the fact that these performances of these songs are incredible, some of them being, you could say the definitive version of those songs. To me, it's the direction from Jonathan Demme is so fluid, so artistic. I just absolutely love it. And of course, just the whole concept of building the show from the bottom up, where David Byrne walks on stage with the guitar and puts down the boomboxes. I have a song I want to play for you, and then he just starts doing Psycho Killer on the guitar and playing to the beat of the recording. And then of course, when he's like stumbling on stage, it's like David Byrne, I think, is one of the greatest frontmen of all time, and I think he's so unconventional, right?
Yeah.
In the way he moves, but like, there's no denying that man has moves, as bizarre as they are. Like, that dude's got rhythm. He knows what he's doing,
Absolutely.
but it's just, my goodness, the stage presence, everything he's doing is incredible. But just the way they build the show, how the first couple songs, the first one it's David, and then they add Tina Weymouth on bass, playing Heaven, which is just such a beautiful rendition of an already beautiful song. But just the way they keep adding, members upon members, and then everybody's on stage by like the fourth or fifth song, and it's just this euphoric build up to such incredible music. The way this movie is structured, I think, is why it is above a lot of other concert movies in the same vein, because I could watch footage from like Monterey Pop or something, and that's great, but as a film, it doesn't really do much. I don't think it's artistic in a way, or as conceptual as something like this. Not even The Last Waltz. Like,
Hmm.
I really like The Last Waltz, but I'm not, like, huge on it. And I think what
Yeah.
Demme does here with Byrne and the Talking Heads is absolutely amazing. And to your point about the sound, like, even seeing it in, standard format, like, I noticed the sound mixing was, like, really, really crisp. It really was immersive in the best way possible. I sat in the back of the theater for this one, and there was only, like, 5 people in my theater as well,
Yeah.
excluding myself. And so I was just like jamming out in the back the whole time, just being absolutely mesmerized by everything that was happening on screen. And my goodness, we got to talk about some of these numbers, man, just because, like,
Yeah.
the way they're performed. Just, of course, I mean, that performance of Burning Down the House, which you could even say, dude, I honestly think that's better than the studio version in a lot of ways.
That's a fair argument to make. It's like some of their, yeah, like, just they're all so freaking good, especially like Burning Down the House.
Oh yeah, and dude, like, when David Byrne, he's like, at the end of the song, when he's like jogging in place with Alex Weir on a guitar, like, it's just absolutely amazing. But to me, when I think of some of the greatest live performances of all time, a few come to mind. I think the entirety of Beyonce's 2018 Coachella performance is up there. Of course,
Yep.
Jimi Hendrix at Monterey Pop. And I
Yep.
would say Freddie Mercury on stage with Queen at Live Aid, when he commands the
Absolutely.
whole, venue in the palm of his hand. But to me, another one of the absolute goated performances of all time is Life During Wartime. I mean, holy shit. This is the perfect example of how manic David Byrne is on stage, and in the presence he has, and just the crazy, like, dance moves he's like doing, like,
Oh.
this and with his legs. But my goodness, I mean, just I think it is easily one of the greatest performances of all time when he starts doing marathon, like, he does, like, doing a marathon around the stage, and you're just like, what the hell is happening? When he's like, I love when he's at the microphone, he's like, this ain't no party, this ain't no disco. His
That was
awkward movements. What's that?
Sorry, that was just a spot on impression there. Like that, like you, like I thought David Byrne just possessed you there. Oh my god.
Well, I appreciate that. I do say if I pride myself on doing impressions of anybody, it's David Byrne. But yeah, just the way like he starts having a seizure on stage, like all these things coalesce to like this incredible moment in live music that just I don't it's one of those just untouchable moments for me, and that's just in the middle of the movie, and even
Yeah.
after that. Like, there's so much to appreciate and enjoy, like, especially, like, in What a Day It Was, like, the low-key lighting coming up on David Byrne's face and really kind of emphasizing the skeletal structure in his face is kind of haunting, but so artistic. I mean, I can't stress that enough. But yeah, you tell me some more of your thoughts on this movie, because there's so many great performances, so many great moments to boot.
I mean, you covered a lot of them there. Like, just the experience of seeing this like in a theater is probably just the thing I'll keep coming back to, because it just like I kept pinching myself because it's like, am I actually like watching this right now? Like,
Right.
just in an IMAX screen, surround sound. Like, it really, like you said, immerses you. Like, it feels like you're a part of the conversation. It helps that the songs are all incredible and the performances are just out of this world good. David Byrne, just he's a different beast. Like, he just, how do you, like, I don't even know where to start with him, because he's just, you can't praise him enough. Like, but every single member of that band, like, it's just like, I don't know if joyous is the right word, but it's
I
just
would
like
say so, yeah.
yeah, I just had like from the frame one, like as soon as he brings that the beatbox out and presses play, like just smile on my face for the rest of the 88-minute runtime.
Yeah,
Just
very short too. You get in and
yeah.
out.
Oh, that's the thing. Like, I've seen it before and like I know it all, but like I couldn't believe how fast it flew by. I would say the highlights, like song wise, just maybe
Mhm.
personal taste, was the "This Must Be the Place" followed by "Once in a Lifetime." Like that stretch right there, that middle
Oh,
stretch, I think is just the like it's all great, but just right there, it's like unbelievable heights.
and I mean, you can't really get more iconic than David Byrne like dancing with the lamp. Like, it's just so great. Him trying to
Like
catch it and him wandering back and forth on stage and like not even missing a beat. Like that's the thing. He's so under control the whole time, like physically and vocally too. Because
yeah,
I gotta give Byrne a lot of credit. Like what he's doing, he obviously isn't like like the technically the greatest singer ever, but
yeah,
like he's really spot on for most of the performance. A lot of his voice is very raw, but it's also very pure. His tone is like spot on. He's not missing a single pitch. He's just absolutely amazing what he does.
yeah. He did not like he turned it up for every single show, especially the one they recorded. Like, because it's just like wow, like this guy is something else, but
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
best
man.
possible way.
Absolutely. And plus that song in general is probably like their most beautiful ballad. And
Mhm.
and I just absolutely love the performance of here. But like you said, once in a lifetime, man. Yet again, when he's like same as it ever was, he's like hitting himself in the head. You're like, what is going on?
The glasses. Oh, it just yeah, it's yeah. I would say that's my favorite Talking Head song too. So I'm a
Yeah.
little biased, but just yeah, that. Do you have a favorite Talking Head song or?
Well, that's a good question, Connor. Because I was gonna say that's a fair choice. That's certainly up near the top of the pile. And I guess on that note, I wish they had performed like "Born Under Punches" or something. Because that's my favorite Talking Head song. And
Right.
it would have been great to throw one number in there. But I'm not complaining with
Yeah.
what they gave us really. Because dude, that performance of "Once in a Lifetime" too. Like the shot near the end where like everybody's like in the frame and like the shadows are like bouncing off and they're just in the shadows and the lighting it's just absolutely amazing. It's so picturesque. It looks like a painting you could hang on your
Yeah.
wall or in a museum or something, and that's why I love this film as opposed to other concert movies in the same vein, because you could tell that the crew here was really aiming for something a bit higher than
Yeah.
some other people may have even thought of. I would say my one thing with the movie, like I guess I don't even know if it's a criticism. Maybe it's more like personal tasting, but I feel like I don't love every single song. Like I've never been a huge fan of
Yeah.
Swamp. even though Byrne's performance is commendable, of course, like I think
Mhm.
that's what makes it interesting. And yeah, I don't love the Tom Tom Club song at all. Really, I find it to be a bit cringe. But even like
Right.
when the lights start flashing and they accent the movements on stage in a very jagged way, it's still like incredible. Like, because
Yeah, yeah.
throughout the whole concert, you still have that, artistic edge. Like, for instance, when you're looking at the background and, like, there's a lot of words, like, there's, like, 3 words on the screen, like Star Wars, like, whatever, and just, like, a bunch of random assortment of stuff. Like, they really built this performance in such a way that goes beyond just having people on stage. Like, there's so many different elements at play that are moving and shifting and coalescing all at the same time. I think that's a beautiful thing about the show. You get so many great moments of joy, especially like when David Byrne is like dancing back and forth with the backing vocalist, and Jerry Harrison. By the way, I talk about everybody playing multiple instruments. I mean, you see Jerry jumping between guitar to keyboards like throughout this entire thing, and everybody's just shifting around, and you're like, these people are so talented. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, like yeah, every single one of them just insanely impressive, like how they put this show on. But yeah, like you said, Jerry Harrison was the one I noticed too. Like just
Hmm.
like almost every song he's back and
Yeah.
forth between them. Like it's just like, oh my goodness, like he's yeah, like they all deserve so much credit for just putting on such an incredible show.
Absolutely, and Byrne is a lead guitarist too, is actually like incredible.
Yeah.
You forget how good he is on it because everyone knows about his stage persona and him as a songwriter, but his chops as a guitarist are nothing to scoff at really.
No.
And so like to me, like I just think this really is like the concert film to end all concert films if I hadn't made that clear enough. And just the way they end this thing on the river, or Take Me to the River, I mean, what am I thinking,
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell? But the way they all, get the audience involved, and it's just so incredible what you're seeing. And then, of course, them ending it on their Cross-Eyed and Painless, which in some ways I think rivals the original recording, especially when Alex Weir's ripping guitar at the end. It's absolutely amazing. You can feel the joy that these guys have for making music. I believe Roger Ebert even said that in his review of Stop Making Sense. And yeah, I mean, if it isn't obvious already, I absolutely love this film. And yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I really don't think there's going to be another concert film to top this. I would like to see one. But I just don't think there's anything quite to this level. Sorry, Taylor. I mean, I'm excited to see Arrows, but it's going to have nothing on this movie if I'm being honest. I mean, how can anything ever top this?
I'm glad you just mentioned Taylor because not to compare, but I do wonder like how that is going to compare with this being in theaters so soon and with the
Mm-hmm.
announcement of Beyonce's, I believe, Renaissance tour.
Oh, yeah,
Being
yeah,
because
yeah.
they just announced that's actually going to be released in December, I think, with like
Mm.
not a confirmed date. So I wonder, like, just we're getting a bunch of concert films, and it's just going to be interesting at the end of the year to look back at them on. But yeah, 9.5, great rating. I think I'm going to go a little higher, and I'm pretty picky with ratings, but
Yeah.
this is a 10 out of 10 for me all day, every day. It's like it was already a 10 out of 10, but that theater experience just made it almost pushed. Like if we could do 11 out of 10s, it would be that. But to be fair and not cheat the rating system, I will settle on a flat 10. But yeah, just remarkable experience. I'm glad I got to see it in IMAX. If it's still playing near you and you're a fan of concert films, a fan of talking heads, or just a fan of Jonathan Demme, like go see this. You won't regret it. It's less than 90 minutes long. You're in and out. It's just I'd say it's the best movie of the year, but technically it's 40 years old. So or almost 40 years old. So
Almost 40.
yeah, I can't quite give it that edge. But yeah, absolutely unreal experience and incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and if it was this year, I would agree with you. But I mean, this is amazing that A24, David Byrne, and the gang
Mhm.
came together to release this amazing film, re-release it once again. Because if you guys haven't seen this, go see it. Especially if you're a Talking Heads fan. I mean, what are you doing? Why haven't you seen this movie at this point? I really think it's the definitive show for their career, and like you said, I mean. I'd put this right up there with Jonathan Demme's best work, like Silence of the
Absolutely.
Lambs and Philadelphia. Like, this really is such an incredible achievement, like I said, and I don't think there'll ever be anything like it again. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think about Stop Making Sense. I know a lot of you on this who watch this channel are big Talking Head fans, and I'm sure you guys have had a while to check this movie out. But let me know if you're seeing it for the first time too. And Connor, thank you again for coming on and talking about Talking Heads with me and talking about Stop Making Sense. It was an absolute honor. And where can the good people on YouTube find you?
First of all, thank you for having me. It was an honor being invited on here to talk about this movie in particular, and I really appreciate that. I'm not too active on social media. I do have a YouTube channel. It's simply my name, Connor Carey. Only gets used about once a year at the end of the year for best of videos, but otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Connor Movies. And I write for some sites, including KeithLovesMovies.com and ConnorsMovieReviews.com, which is mine, but has been highly inactive. So not much there as of now. But yeah, if you need to find me, that is where. And I appreciate the opportunity once again.
Of course, I'll drop those links down below so you can check those out. And yeah, guys, keep celebrating this band. 40 years later, I mean, this is still so groundbreaking. Broke so many transversive boundaries in music, and still the funkiest white people to ever live. So yeah, guys, until the next video, take it easy, and we'll see you later.
Thanks for having me.